In variation, we're going to talk about how things, one thing relates to another thing. There's different types of variation. The first type of variation that we deal with is called direct. It's called direct variation. And there's this is kind of word problem-y. Not 100% word problems, but close enough. With direct variation, you see something like this. You'll see something phrased like y varies directly as x, or you might see that y is directly proportional to x. Okay, these are the words that you're going to be looking for. Directly proportional, the relationship between y and x. We use variation all the time. You just don't recognize that you are using variation. Now, the way this would be set up, if you see this phrase, would be y equals k times x. Go ahead and ask the question.
What's k?
There you go. What is k? I see the y and the x. Where did the k come from? This k is something we're going to see in every problem. You also see this come up later in some other higher math classes. This is called the This is called the constant of variation. This isn't the only name that we use for it, but for us it's the constant of variation. Or it's the proportionality constant. It's the constant that ties together y and x. Basically what this says is that as x changes, y changes directly with that. That means that as x goes up, then y goes up. Or if x decreases, then y decreases. Okay, this is a direct relationship, direct variation. That's how it works. Now you see, and you have seen things like this before. Okay, if I were to say this, c equals pi times d, what is this guy?
That's the circle.
This is not a circle, but it relates to a circle. What?
It's
It connects what two things? The circumference to the diameter. Now, the diameter and the circumference can change, right? But what is not changing here in this formula? What is always the same? This pi right here is your constant of variation. Doesn't matter when you are trying to find the circumference, you always get the pi there. But think about this. As you increase your diameter, what happens to your circumference? Right, the larger your diameter, the larger the circumference is, right? If you shrink down your diameter, what happens to the circumference? It shrinks down as well, right? So these guys are in direct relationship. You see this, again, if you were to look at, I don't know, if you get paid by the hour, right? You know, if you increase the hours you work, what does that do to your paycheck? It should increase that. Now, what connects your paycheck to your hours? What's that constant of variation that we have here? What is it? Yeah, it's going to be your rate. So if you make $12 an hour, it would be 12H. You plug in the number of hours you work, times 12, that tells you how much you get paid, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's direct variation. Are there questions about that guy? Okay.